Hey guys, been a while, huh? I've been so busy with work for the past 6 and 7 months that I haven't had a chance to post new videos for you. Thanks to several of you who post on my last video, as well as emailing me, which is kind of surprising. But so now that I have a bit more free time, my goal is to post new videos for you guys once a week. And any math topic from first grade to 12th grade is fair game. So depending on the requests I get, I will just make the video on that topic. Anyway, on to today's video. We will be working with adding fractions with unlike denominators. So let's get started. Hi guys, so as mentioned, today we'll be adding fractions with unlike denominators. Okay, so but first I'd like to go over the simple stuff first. For example, let's adding fraction with like denominators. So for example, if I have 1/2 plus 1/2, okay, so in picture form I basically have, let's say I have half a pie. Okay, and then I have someone gave me another half of a pie, like that. Okay, so since I have a half of something and a half of something, they're both the same unit, then I can just combine those halves. So the shaded, I have two equal shaded part, so then I'll add up together, so I get 2 over 2, something that's not shaded. Okay, so that's 2 over 2 is 1 whole pie. If I would combine the shaded region together, I'm gonna get 1 whole pie, right? Because that's half of the part that is shaded. Okay, so in this case, when the denominator is light, it's very easy. I will just have to keep the number, the denominator that's already the same, and move it over. And then I would add the number on the top. So 1 plus 1 is 2. And as you can see, it's just like our picture, we will have 1 whole pie, because we'll end up with the shaded region of pie on this side, and then the other shaded region of pie on that side. So give us 1 whole pie. Okay? Now, what happens when I have a fraction that doesn't have the same denominator? What I can do is, first I have to find a way to somehow make the denominator the same. Okay? So I'll teach you a way. This is my first way, and the way that's pretty easy for most people that I've taught to find the same denominator. So as you can see here, denominator from the previous problem was 2 and 2. This one is 2 and 3. The two are different, so I have to find something that's common. And in class, you will hear teachers say a lot the word common denominator. Okay, so common denominator means the two number at the bottom that should be common. So what I typically do is I'll write the number 2 here and the number 3 here. Okay, once I write those down, what I can do is just start multiplying them, starting with 1. So 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 1 is 3, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 2 is 6, 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. Now, you guys see how there are two numbers that is exactly the same. So on each column I have a number 6, and the other column I also have the number 6. So this means that my common denominator is 6. Okay, so I would just have to ask myself, how do I get, so now I'm done with this, right? I'm done with that chart, that T chart. So now I know that my common denominator is 6. So I gotta ask myself, how do I get from 2 to 6? I have to multiply by 3. Okay? And remember in fraction, if I change a number at the bottom by multiplying it by 3, I gotta do the exact same thing to the top so that the fraction doesn't change. Okay, so you see how I just multiply the bottom by 3 and the top by 3. Did the exact same thing. Now for this fraction right here, I ask myself, how do I get from 3 to 6? So what I can do is just say, multiply this by 2. Therefore, I have to multiply the top one also by 2. And remember, these two numbers that you're multiplying by have to be exactly the same. Okay, so now that I have the bottom numbers are the same, what I can do is find out what each fraction equal. So for the first fraction, I have 1 times 3. I'm going to get 3. Okay, that number is from there. And the bottom number, I have 2 times 3 is 6. That number goes here, right? And then I will move the plus sign down. And then I have 1 times 2 is 2. And then I have 3 times 2 is 6. So you see now how we change a fraction with unlike denominators to like denominators. So they both now have 6 in them for the denominator. So all we have to do now, as before, is we just add across. 3 plus 2 is 5. And then we keep the denominator since they are the same now. 5 over 6. Our final answer is 5 over 6. Okay? Now, okay, here's the second example for the second method. Let's say I have 1/6 plus 1/12. Okay? So for this one, I just factor out 6 and 12. Okay? 6 is 2 times 3. And that's as far as I can go. And then 12, I know is 3 times 4. And those are the things that I want to keep. 2 times 3 over here. And then I'll keep that 3 because it's a prime number. And then I have 4 I can factor onto 2 times 2. Okay? And what I can do is I can list that 6 is 2 times 3. And then 12 is 2 times 2 times 3. 3, okay? Fairly basic until then. Okay, so next, what I can do is I will delete this line here. So we have space to do stuff. Okay, so as similar as before, 1, 2. Those two numbers are similar, so I'm just going to take one of them. Okay. The number 3, they are similar on each side, so I'm just going to take 3. 1, 3. Okay. So that number 2, there's no similar one, so I'm just going to take that. Okay. So my least common denominator is 2 times 3 times 2. Okay. Which is 12. Alright, so how do I get from 6 to 12? I'm gonna multiply by 2. This I gotta multiply by 2. How do I get from 12 to 12? I gotta multiply by 1. And then I gotta do the same thing to the top. Okay, so 1 times 2 is 2. 6 times 2 is 12. 1 times 1 is 1. 6 times 1 is, 12 times 1 is 12. Okay, now I move the addition sign down. So I get 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. And then I move the 12 over because it's already been is a common denominator. So I get 3 over 12. All right. Now let's see. That ends our lesson, but I want to give you a couple of problems so you can practice on, and then I'll, remember, be sure to pause the video so you can try it on your own. Both of these methods, whichever way you feel more comfortable with, then use that method. Okay? So now let's see. I'm going to see if you can do this one. 1/6 plus 1/2. Okay? And then try 3/4 plus 2/5. Okay? Try those two problems. Pause the video, and then we'll come. I'll give the answer right after this. Okay? Okay. I hope you guys paused the video. But this is the answer for 1/6 plus 1/2. Okay, so 1/6, remember we gotta find the common denominator because these two numbers are not the same. So 6 and 2, so we got 6 is 2 times 3, and then 2 is just 2 times 1. So we are going to take, there's 2 2's, so we're just going to take 1 2. The 3 is by itself, so we're just going to take the 3, and the 1 is by itself, so we're just going to take the 1. So 2 times 3 is 6. Our common denominator is 6. So 6, how do we get from 6 to 6? We multiply by 1. We're going to multiply the top by 1. How do we get from 2 to 6? We got to do 2 times 3, and then we do 1 times 3 on top. See how these, remember, this number has to be the exact same thing. Okay, and then we change this fraction into 1 over 6 because 1 times 1 is 1, and then 6 times 1 is 6. We add that to 1 times 3 is 3, and then 2 times 3 is 6. So now that we have a common denominator of 6, we can add across. 1 plus 3 is 4. 6 is just 6. So the answer is 4 over 6. Okay? We'll talk about reducing fraction later. But for now, that should be good. Okay? So next, we have 3 over 4 plus 2 over 5. Okay? So 4 is just 2 times 2. 5 is just 5 times 1. So what I'm going to do is just take the numbers that are similar on each column and just take one of them. If they are different or no number are similar, then we'll just take the whole number. So we don't have anything similar on the right column for 2, so we're just going to take 2. That 2 doesn't have anything similar on the right, so we're just going to take that 2 as well. And we have the 5, nothing on the left column, nothing similar for that 1, so everything's there. 4 times 5 is 20, is our common denominator. So how do we get from 4 to 20? We got to multiply by 5. So we got to do the same thing to the top. How do we get from 5 to 20? We got to multiply by 4. So we got to do the same thing to the top. Okay? This fraction right here will become now 15 because 3 times 5 is 15 over 20. This fraction right here will now become 2 times 4 is 8, and then the bottom or the denominator is 5 times 4 is 20. Add that. We have 15 plus 8 is 23, and then common denominator of 20. Just write that, and we're done. Voila! So that ends our lesson for adding and subtracting fraction with unlike denominator.